If I could go back to high school, I would do things completely differently. There were so many mistakes that I made, and what I want to do today is kind of walk you through some of the mistakes I made, what it actually cost me, and what I would ultimately do differently and what you can learn from it. You see, in high school, I was the class clown guy. I was the prankster, and I didn't start out that way, though. When I was in 9th grade, I was this puny little kid who didn't know what I just got into. I was just kind of looking at everybody and just trying to figure out my place, because I really wasn't really the cool kid. I mean, some people liked me and I had some friends, but I really wasn't part of the team, if you will. And you have to understand, I lived right on my block and around the block with a bunch of really, cool kid athletes. They were, football players and lacrosse players, and we were friends for quite some time, but we became really good friends in high school. And that kind of association led me to get into the rest of the cool kids club. The way I ultimately did that was when we would hang out, by taking these pranks to the next level. If everybody in the group would kind of, be here, I would take it 3 notches higher. And I was always that guy. Oh, McKella will do it. Yeah, he'll do it. I realized it was fun and I had a great time, but that was the way I became known as that class clown prankster guy. The problem was, this was like any other drug. And like any other drug, I got addicted. I wanted more of that feeling of validation and that feeling of acceptance from everybody. So I kept doing more of these things. And not only did I up the ante and risk everything, not only my dignity, but my safety, I wasted a lot of time. I did not prioritize my time or my energy, for that matter. I ran myself ragged, and not so much so studying proactively and consistently, but I would definitely run myself ragged when I needed to cram for a test, or when I needed to, have 3 days until the deadline of a huge project. But more cases than not, I was, I was doing all sorts of stupid, dumb things way late into the wee hours of the night, way more often than I should have been. And what sacrificed? Well, I sacrificed my schoolwork, of course. I sacrificed my physical abilities to perform in school and my abilities to perform in my extracurriculars that I loved. You understand? I loved my high school experience. It was the best, not even just because, I was the class clown guy, but because I was into so many things. I was into theater. I had major leading roles in all the shows and stuff. I was into obviously band. I mean, that was a huge part of my life. Orchestra, jazz band, everything. Even I did a peer mentoring leadership group at one point. I mean, I was into so many things in high school, and but my performance in those things suffered because I was just always shot. I didn't either prioritize my time to prepare for those things, whether it be a concert or a musical or whatever it may be, or I just was, run ragged because I was out doing too many stupid things and too many nights in a row. I remember my senior musical, we did Footloose. Yes, I was Ren McCormick. It's ridiculous, but it was a great show. It was a little weird because my director that I had for my first 3 years that I had such a great relationship with left, and he was now teaching in another building, another district. And this new guy, he just ran things a little bit differently, and I didn't like that. So instead of focusing on getting rest and sleep and just mentally and emotionally preparing the week of, which is they call Tech Week or Hell Week, what was I doing? Oh, I don't know. I was building last minute sets because I needed to have that perfect thing, and this was my blah, blah, and it was ridiculous. And that is definitely not prioritizing my time or my energy. So if I can go back again, I would set a routine. First of all, I would make sure that every day after school, I would do the same thing. Now, it may not be for you the same thing every single day, but if it's the same Monday, Wednesday, Friday schedule, or the Monday, Tuesday schedule, or whatever, you want to make sure you have a specific routine when you go home and you now have freedom it's not just freedom. You need to actually lock in and say, okay, I'm going to do this for my family. I'm going to take care of the dog, go for a walk. And then, I will give myself a half hour to game at some point, but you know what? This is going to be homework time. And I always looked at that as, oh God, they schedule homework like right after school. That's like the best thing you could possibly do. Just bang it out as soon as you get home from school. Do your homework. So whatever the routine might be, you need to create one for yourself and you need to stick with it. And as I went through high school, I didn't have any of these resources. I didn't have people on YouTube helping me out as well. I definitely needed help. The problem was that I didn't outseek that. You have to understand, when you're in elementary school, people are kind of on top of you a lot. They handhold every step and everything that you do because you're a child, you're a little kid, you don't know what you're doing. So they kind of transitioned you a little bit in middle school, but they're still really kind of holding your hand a lot. And, teachers are a little bit more proactive and they're able to see certain things. But when you're in high school, there's a huge difference from junior high or middle school transitioning into high school. Huge difference. There is a ton more autonomy. You now are in so much more control of your schedule, of your time, of your freedom. And there's not a lot of people that are on top of you watching you and seeing if you need help to be proactive for you. If there is something bothering you, if you need help with some social issue or an emotional aspect of your life, or if you need help with schoolwork, whatever it may be, you are the one that needs to actually go out and get that help. There were so many times in school in certain subjects that I really needed help with. Math was never a strong suit. Chemistry was really rough, which is sad because chemistry is not that hard. And, I did okay in English and I did okay in history and things like that. But ultimately, I really needed more help. For instance, chemistry, I did really quite horribly. I passed, but I really didn't do well in chemistry. And I really should have gotten the help that I needed. But that was my junior year. And my junior year was the most intense, crazy, stupid year. I was too busy filming prank videos for Domino's Pizza guys, and I was too busy doing insane stunts on the highway and things I can't even share with you, that was really where my focus was, alongside all my other extracurricular activities. But I didn't, I didn't want to spend the time and the emotional and mental RAM to go out and get the help I needed for chemistry. Now, when it came to math, I did get some help. I had a tutor and I took, I think, a remedial course. But the problem was that was me trying to check a box. And I didn't go a few layers deeper in the onion. I didn't realize that, okay, the tutor is one part of help I need. It's one aspect of help. But now I need help actually learning how to study. Now I need help learning how to take a test and that process. Now I need, help making my schedule. Now, a math tutor may not be able to help me all with those things. Maybe it's, a guidance counselor. Maybe it's a favorite teacher. Maybe it's your parents. Whatever it may be, there is different types of help that you may need to get. And unfortunately, again, in high school, it falls on your shoulders to go out and figure out what type of help you need for what problem you have. So if I could do it again, what I would do is have 3 conversations with 3 different people. And I'm not sure exactly what those people would be, but I would make it a point to find 3 different people. It might be a guidance counselor, it might be a social worker, it might be a psychologist, it might be the principal, it might be a random teacher, it might be a best friend, whatever it is, 3 different people, and tell them 3 issues that I'm feeling. And I'm not even sure if I'm clear on my issues, but hey man, I just feel like I'm never going to be able to pass Math B, which is basically like trigonometry, which I didn't pass. I feel like I'm never going to be able to do this. And well, I didn't get the help. I didn't feel like I'm not going to be successful in my career, whatever it may be, and have these conversations, because the more you talk with people, the more answers that will actually come. Now, as I navigated through high school, I thought that I was fairly productive, and I thought that I was fairly motivated to become, at that point, to become a high school band director. And I thought I was going to, do certain things and invest in my audition tape for my college applications. And I had that happy-go-lucky thought. But when I look back on it, yeah, I did not put the time into that. And that goes back to, obviously, the first point we talked about, but there's a deeper reason. The deeper reason why I went around thinking that my stuff didn't stink was because I didn't realize my power. And I know it sounds a little bit ridiculously superhero egotistical, but let me kind of double click into this. I did not realize my power in both the negative consequences and the positive consequences. So for instance, I did not realize that what I say and do has a huge effect on many people. And I got to tell you, as many fond memories as I have in high school, now that I am a fairly seasoned adult, got my salt and pepper to show, now I can look back on high school and realize there were some people I hurt. There were some things that I said and did that probably didn't feel good to certain people, that probably had a really bad taste in their mouth about who I am and who I was. And of course, if I can go back, I would do things differently. But at the same time, I didn't realize my power for the positive. I didn't realize that I, as just a high school student, could have done so much more. I could have made so much more of a lasting impact, not only with my friends and my family, but like my entire school and community, if I chose to do so. Now, I'm not saying that you should go out and change your entire district and do community service projects and all these things. I'm not asking you to do that. What I am asking you to do is to realize how powerful you actually are. There's a reason why people your age in high school are making real change in their communities. They're making real legislative changes based on the things and the activities they're doing. They, for selfish reasons, are able to make quite a bit of money. When I say quite a bit, I mean like tens and even hundreds of thousands of dollars as a high school student, because you guys have the power of the internet. We didn't have that really back then. So what I'm trying to tell you is this: you need to realize how much ability and capability you have. I mean, even on a small scale, I could have practiced my instrument so much more. I could have been so much more of an accomplished musician. And what would that have done? Well, that would have made me record a much better audition tape. And maybe that would have gotten me into different schools, and maybe that would have sent me on different journeys. Who knows? But again, I just was so much more capable, and I didn't put in the mental and emotional and tactical time and effort that I needed. Now, one last bonus point. What is the one thing that I did do right? And if I had to go back, I wouldn't change it. Well, the one thing that I nailed in high school was perspective. Having this type of perspective would sometimes lend me down some negative paths, but 90% of the time it was positive. And the perspective was this: this time in my life is going to be so short. And it was. Oh my gosh, it just flew. And since I had such an amazing time, it probably went even faster. But it went really fast. And it went so fast, and I had such a good time that I do look back, and most of the memories I have are all positive. And I'm really glad that not only I was able to have those positive memories, but at the same time, since I had that perspective, and I did some really dumb things, granted, I can speak to you being still here, safe, alive, never even having broken a bone, let alone lost a limb. But I can tell you that I got that stuff out of my system. And sometimes when people need to get that stuff out of their system, it comes a little bit later in life and in college and certain things, and then it gets a little bit even messier. So
perspective for me was a real win. So if you're in high school right now, you have one chance. You got one shot to do the things that I didn't do. You have one chance to be really organized with your time. Yeah, fill in the time to actually chill with your buddies and game and do stupid things. That's fine, but really make sure that you're detailed, oriented when it comes to your time, because it's the one resource you're never going to get back. So fill in those times to actually put in the work, right? Do the studying that you need to do, get the help that you need to get. And of course, realize that you are way more powerful than you believe. You can have a lasting impact on the people that you touch every day, either positively or negatively. Now, if you watch this video and you're looking for some specific habits to actually implement while you're in high school to really take advantage of your time and your energy, then definitely take a look at this video right over here.